You are talking to your servant. Look inside. Look at the ego, how it is. You are talking to your friend. Look within, how the ego is. You are talking with your beloved. Look within, whether the ego is or is not. You are talking to an innocent child. Look within. The ego will not be there. Because it will be stupid to be egoist with an innocent child. Even you will feel this is stupid. So while playing with children, you become a child. Because this is stupid. The child doesn't know the language of ego. And you will look awkward being egoistic with a child. So when you play with children, they pull you down. They bring you back to your own childhood. When you are talking with a dog or playing with a dog, the ego cannot exist. The ego that the society has given to you. Because with the dog, there is no question of ego. But you are walking with your dog and someone crosses the street and you have a very beautiful and costly dog. Even the dog gives you ego. But the dog is not giving you the ego, the man who passes. You become straight. You feel elated. You have a very beautiful dog. And the man looks jealous. The ego is there. If you move into a forest, the ego will disappear. Hence the insistence of all religions to move, at least for a time being, into the world of nature. This sutra is simple. Abide in some place endlessly spacious, on some hilltop, from where you can see endlessly. The vision never comes to any end. If you can see endlessly and there is no end to your vision, the ego will dissolve. Ego needs limits, boundaries. More defined the boundaries, easier it is for the ego to exist. Abide in some place endlessly spacious, clear of trees, hills, habitations. Thence comes the end of mind presses. And mind is so subtle. You can live on a hilltop and there is no one, but you can see deep down in the valley a cottage. You will start talking with that cottage. You will be in relationship with it. The society has come in. You don't know who lives there, but someone lives there. And that becomes the boundary. And you will start dreaming about who lives there. And your eyes will search someday to see who lives there. The cottage will become a symbol of humanity. So the sutra says, without habitats, even without trees, because it has been known that people who live alone, they start talking with trees. They make friendship. They create a dialogue. You cannot understand the difficulty of a man who has gone to be lonely. He wants someone. He will say hello to the tree. How are you? And trees are beings. If you are really honest, they will reply. They will start replying. And there will be a response. So you can create society. The meaning is this, that be in some place and be alert that you don't create a society again. You may start tendering a tree, loving a tree. You may feel that the tree is feeling thirsty. Bring some water. You have started relationship. With relationship, you are not alone. So this is the emphasis, that move to such a place and with this mind that you are not going to create any relationship. Leave all relationship and the world of relationship behind and be alone there. In the beginning it is going to be very difficult because your mind is created by the society. You can leave the society where you will leave the mind. The mind will follow you like a shadow. The mind will haunt you. The mind will start torturing you. Faces will come in dreams. They will try to pull you. You will try to meditate, but thoughts will not cease. You will start thinking of the house. You will start thinking of your wife, of your children. It is human. It is not going to happen to you only. It has happened to Buddha, to Mahavir. It has happened to everyone. Even a Buddha is bound to think of Yasodhara. Long 6 years loneliness. In the beginning, when the mind was following him, he must be sitting under a tree, pretending to meditate. Yasodhara must follow him. He loved that woman. And he must be feeling guilty because he has left that woman and without saying anything to her. Nowhere it is mentioned that he thought about Yasodhara. But I say, he must have thought. It is so human, it is so natural. To think that he never thought again of Yasodhara would be too inhuman and would not be fair to Buddha. Only by and by, long struggle, and he would have been able to throw the mind. But it will persist. Because mind is nothing but society. Society internalized. The society has entered in you. That is your mind. You can escape from society, the outer reality, but the inners will follow you. Many times he must have been talking with Yasodhara, with his father, with his small child he has left behind. The face of the child must follow. It was there in his mind when he left. The night he left, he went in Yasodhara's room just to see the child for the last time. And the child was only 1 day old. Yasodhara was sleeping. And the child was clinging to her breast. He looked at the child. He wanted to take the child into his hands because this is the last. He has not touched him yet. And he may not return ever, or there will be no meeting. He is leaving the world. He wanted to touch and kiss the child, but then he became afraid. Because if he takes the child up in his hands, Yasodhara might be awakened. And then it will be very difficult for him to live if she starts weeping and crying. He has a human heart. And it is beautiful that he thinks of it, that if he starts crying, it will be very difficult for him to live. And then all that he has created in his mind, that this world is useless, futile, will disappear. He will not be able to see Yasodhara crying. He loved that woman. So he left. He moved out of the room without making any noise. This man cannot leave Yasodhara and the child easily. No one can leave. When he will be begging. It is bound to come to his mind, his palace and everything. And he was a beggar on his own account. This past will persist. It will hammer the mind again and again. Come back. Many times he will think, I have made a mistake. It is bound to be so. Nowhere it is recorded. And sometimes I think to make a diary. What happened to Buddha's mind? For those 6 years, a diary. What happened to his mind? What was going on? Mind will follow like a shadow wherever you go. So it is not going to be easy. It has never been for anyone. It will be a long struggle to make yourself again and again alert, again and again to be a witness, again and again not to fall a victim. And to the very last, the mind follows, unless in desperation, unless feeling that you are incurable. Now nothing can be done. The mind stops haunting you. It will try in every way. It will create fantasies, reveries, dreams, all types of allurement, seductions it will create. That's what is written in all the lives of all the seers, that Satan comes, the devil comes to seduce. No one comes, only your mind. Your mind is the only devil and no one else. It will try in every way. It will say to you, I will give you the whole world, come back. It will make you depressed that you are a fool. The whole world is enjoying and you have come to this hilltop. You are mad. And this all religion is humbug, come back. Look, the whole world is not insane. And they are enjoying. And the mind will give such beautiful pictures of everyone who is enjoying. And the whole world will be more attractive to you than ever. And all that you have left behind will pull you backwards. And this is the basic struggle. And this is because the mind is just a mechanism of habits, mechanical persistence. That hilltop, the mind will feel like hell. Nothing is good here. Everything is wrong. The mind will create all negativity around you. That what you are doing here, are you gone mad? The world that you have left behind will become more and more beautiful in the eyes. And the place you are will become more and more ugly. But if you persist and if you remain aware that this is how mind will do, this is how mind is bound to do. And if you don't get identified with the mind, a moment comes when the mind leaves you and with it all the pleasures. When the mind leaves you, you are so unburdened because that is the only burden. Then there is no worry, no thought, no anxiety. You have entered the womb of existence. Unworried, you float. A deep silence explodes within you. The sutra says, thence comes the end of mind pressures. In such solitude, in such loneliness. One thing has to be remembered more about it. The crowd has a deep pressure on you, whether you know it or not. Now, scientists working on animals have come to a very basic law. They say that every animal has a certain space as his territory. If you enter that space, then the animal becomes tense. And they will attack you. Every animal has a certain space around him. He will not allow anybody to enter. Because the moment someone enters, he feels the pressure. You hear many birds singing in the trees. You don't know what they are doing. Scientists now say, after years of study, that whenever a bird is singing in the trees, he is doing many things. One, he is calling for her girlfriend. Another, he is making alert all the male competitors that this is his territory. Don't do it. And if someone enters in the territory, fight will ensue. And the girlfriend will just wait and see who wins. Because who has territory will have her. She will just wait. And the one who wins will be there, and one who is defeated will have to leave. Every animal, by many means, by singing, sound, by body odors, creates a territory. No other competitor should enter the territory. You may have seen dogs pissing all around. Scientists say that they create territory by pissing. The dog will go and piss on this pole and on that pole. He will not piss on one place. Why? You can do it on one place. Why move so much? But he is creating territory. His urine has a particular odor. He creates a territory. No one should enter, otherwise it is dangerous. He lives secluded in his own territory, master of it. Many studies are on. They have tried to put many animals in one cage. Their all needs are fulfilled, better than they can fulfill themselves in the forest. But they go mad because they don't have space Always someone is around. They are tense, afraid, ready to fight. This constant readiness to fight gives such tension that there are heart failures. They go mad. Even animals commit suicide. The pressure becomes so much. And many abnormalities develop, which are never found in the wild state. Monkeys in the wild, they are totally different. When caged in a zoo, they start behaving abnormally. In the beginning it was thought it is bondage that is creating the problem, but now it is not the bondage. If you give them proper space that they need in a cage, they are happy, then there is no problem. But they have an intrinsic feeling of space. When someone enters that space, pressure comes to their mind. Their mind starts to be tense, a strain is there, they cannot sleep rightly, they cannot feed rightly, they cannot love rightly. Now scientists say, because of these studies, that the whole humanity is going crazy and mad because of too much population. The pressure is so much. You are never left alone. In the train, in the bus, in the office, everywhere crowd and crowd. Man has also a need of space to be left alone. But there is no place. You are never alone. You come to your home, and the wife is there, and the children are there, and relatives. They go on coming. And they still think that the guest is God. You are already crazy because the pressure is too much all around you. And you cannot say to anyone, leave me alone. If you say to your wife, leave me alone, she will get angry. What do you mean? She has been waiting for you the whole day. Mind needs space to be relaxed. So this sutra is really beautiful and very scientific. Hence comes the end of mind pressures. When you move alone on a solitary hilltop, you have space all around you, endless space. The pressure of the crowd, the pressure of others around you leaves you. You will sleep more deeply. You will have a different quality of awakening in the morning. You will feel free. An inner pressure circle is not there. You will feel unimprisoned, unfettered. This is good. But we have become so much addicted to crowd that only for a few days, 3 or 4 days, you will feel good. And then the desire will arise to go again to the crowd. On every holiday you go, after 3 days, you want to come back. Because the pattern, the habit, you feel useless. Alone you feel useless. Alone you cannot do anything. And even if you do something, no one will be able to know. No one will see you doing it. No one will appreciate it. You cannot do anything alone because all your life you have been doing something for others. You feel useless. So remember, if you ever try this solitary madness, drop the idea of utility. Be useless, only then you can be alone. Because really utility has been forced on your mind by the society. The society says, be of some utility. Don't be useless. Because the society wants you to be an economic unit, a thing, efficient, utilitarian. The society doesn't want you to be just a flower. No. Even if you are a flower, then you must be worth being sold. The society needs you to be in the market. You must have some utility. Only then you are of use, otherwise you are of no use. The society goes on preaching that use is the goal of life. Purpose is the goal of life. This is nonsense. I'm not saying be useless. I'm saying this use is not the goal. You have to live in the society, be useful to you, but remain capable of any moment to be useless. That capacity must be retained. Otherwise you become a thing and you are not a person. When you move into solitariness, aloneness, this will become a problem. You will feel yourself useless. I have been working with many people. Sometimes I suggest them to go for 3 weeks or 3 months into total loneliness, silence. And I tell them that after 7 days you would like to come back and you will argue within your mind all the reasons not to be there and come back. Don't listen to those arguments. Make it a fixed point that for the time you have decided you will not leave. They say to me, but I'm going on my own will. Why should I leave? I tell them that you don't know yourself. This will not be there for more than 3 or 7 days. And afterwards you will long. Because society has become alcoholic. It is an intoxicant. In sober moments you can think to be alone. But when you are alone within 3 days, you will feel what I am doing. It is useless. So I tell them that be useless and don't think in terms of utility. Sometimes it has happened. They have remained there for 3 weeks or 3 months. And then they come and they say it was beautiful. I was very happy. But this idea continued to hammer. That what is the use? I was happy, they say. Very silent. I enjoyed it. But this idea was constantly in the background. What is the use? What I am doing? Remember, use is for society. Society uses you. And you use society. This is a reciprocal arrangement. But life is not for any use. It is non-utilitarian, purposeless. It is a play, a celebration. So when you move into solitariness to do this technique, be from the very beginning prepared that you are going into uselessness. And enjoy it, don't feel sad about it. The mind will bring such arguments you cannot conceive. It will say the world is in such trouble and you are sitting in silence here. Look what is happening in Vietnam and what is happening in Pakistan and what is happening in China. And your country is dying. The food is not there. The water is not. And what are you doing here? Meditating. What is the use? Will it bring socialism to the country? Mine will bring beautiful arguments. Mine is the great arguer. It is the devil. It will try to persuade you. It will convince you that you are wasting time. But don't listen to it. From the very beginning, be prepared that I am going to waste time. I will not be of any use. I will simply enjoy being there. And don't be concerned, remain concerned with the world. The world goes on. It is always in trouble. It has been always in trouble and it will remain always in trouble. That is the way of the world to be. You cannot do anything. So don't try to be a great world reformer, a revolutionary, a mashar. Don't try to be. You simply be yourself and enjoy your solitariness. Just like a rock, or a tree, or a river. Useless. What is the use of a rock? Just lying there under the rains, under the sun, under the stars. What is the use of this rock? No use. The rock enjoyed itself to be that way. Just be a rock. There are rock gardens in Japan, in Zen monasteries. They make rock gardens, particularly for this. No trees in the garden, just sand and rock. A solitary rock, just sitting there. And the master says to the disciple, go and be just a rock, just like that rock. Don't be bothered about the world. That rock remains there. Whatsoever happens to the world, it is not worried. It is always in meditation. Unless you are really prepared to be useless, you cannot be solitary. You cannot be in solitude. And once you know the depth of it, you can come back to the society. You must come. Because solitariness is not a style of life. It is just a training. It is not a way of life. It is just a deep relaxation to change the perspective. It is just falling out of a step from society, to have a look of yourself, who you are alone. So don't think that this is a style of life. Many have made it a style of life. They are in error. They are absolutely in error. They have made a medicine food. It is not a style of life. It is just medicinal. You fall out for a time being just to have a perspective, the distance to see what you are and what the society is doing to you. When you are out of it, you can have a better look. You can observe. Without concern, without in it, you can become an observer. From the hilltop, you can become a witness. You are so far away. Unprejudiced, undisturbed, you can look. So, note that this is not a way of life. I am not saying that leave the world and become hermits somewhere in the Himalayas. No. But sometimes to live, relax, be useless, alone, and just like a rock, independent, free from the world. Be a part of nature. You will be rejuvenated, reborn, come back, move in the society, in the crowd again, and try to carry that beauty, that silence that happened to you when you were alone. Carry it now. Don't lose contact with it. Move, be in the crowd, but don't become a part of it. Let the crowd be there. Outside you, you remain alone. And when you become capable of being alone in the crowd, you have achieved real aloneness. Because it is easy to be alone on a hilltop. The whole nature helps you. And nothing is a barrier. To be back in the marketplace, in the shop, in the office, in the family, and remain alone, then it is an achievement. Then something you have achieved, and it was not just accidental. It had not happened because of the hills. Now the quality of consciousness has changed. So remain alone in the crowd. The crowd will be there outside, but don't allow it to enter in. Protect whatsoever you have gained there. Defend it. Don't allow it to be disturbed. And whenever you feel that the feeling has become dull, that you are missing it, that the society has disturbed it, that the dust has gathered around, that the fresh spring is no more fresh, it is polluted, move again, fall out of the society, to renew it, to make it more again alive, come back, move in the crowd again. A moment will come that that original spring will remain fresh and no one will be able to pollute it, to contaminate it. Then there is no need to move anywhere. So this is just a technique, not a style of life. Don't become a monk, don't become a nun, don't move to a monastery to live there forever. That is nonsense. Because if you live forever in a monastery, you will never be able to know whether whatsoever you have attained, or just the monastery has given it to you. Again, it may be accidental, not essential. The essential has to be tested. The essential has to be put against the society. The essential has to be brought to the touchstone. And when it never breaks, and when you can depend on it, when nothing can change it, then it has become a crystallization. Second technique, consider the plenum to be your own body of bliss. The second is concerned with the first. Consider the space to be your own body of bliss while meditating on a hilltop. Endless space before you. You can do it. Consider it to be filled with your own body of bliss. There are 7 bodies. The bliss body is the last body. So the more you enter within, the more you feel yourself to be blissful. You are nearing the bliss body, the layer of bliss. It is just around your essential soul. The first body from within, outwards. The last body from without, inwards. Just around your being, the essential soul, is the layer of bliss. And that is called bliss body. Sitting on a hilltop, looking at the endless sky, feel that the whole space, the whole plenum is filled with your bliss body. Your bliss body has increased, and the whole space is filled with it. How you will feel it? Because you don't know what bliss is. How to imagine it? So, it will be better to try first to feel that the whole space is filled with silence, not with bliss. Feel it filled with silence. And the nature will be helpful about it. Because in nature, even noises are silent. In cities, even silence is noisy. Natural sounds are silent because they don't disturb. They are harmonious. So don't think that silence is necessarily soundlessness. No. A musical sound can be silence because it is so harmonious. It doesn't disturb you. Rather, it deepens your silence. So when you move in nature, the breeze is blowing, the stream, the river, the wind, whatsoever sounds are there. They are harmonious. They make a whole. They are not disturbing. You can listen to them, and the very listening will deepen your silence. So first feel that the whole space is filled with silence. Feel it deeply that it is going more and more silent. The sky has become silence around you. And when you feel that the sky has become silence, only then try this to be filled with bliss. Because as silence deepens, you will have the first glimpse of bliss. As tension increases, you have the first glimpse of misery, strain. As silence deepens, you will feel at ease, at home, relaxed. The first glimpse of bliss will be coming to you. And when that glimpse comes, then you can feel it. Then you can imagine that now the whole space is filled with that bliss. Consider the plenum to be your own body of bliss. Whole sky becomes your body of bliss. You can do it separately. No need to join it with the first. But the same requirements are needed. Space, endless. Silence. No human beings around you. Why this insistence of no human beings around you? Because the moment you see a human being, you start reacting in the old ways. You cannot see a human being without reacting. Something or other will happen to you immediately.